Living life is an art which very few know, an art which even fewer master, and an art which, when mastered, leads to the ultimate goal of life, to go back home, back to the kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Billions of people walk over the surface of the earth. Billions go through life, but to find a person who actually lives life the way it is meant to be lived is rare. Living through the hustle and bustle of the modern civilization, the so-called intellectuals remain oblivious to the subtleties of life, which are often imbued within the lives of those who lead a life of simplicity. Only when one, leaving behind the confines of the general social expectations and one's own perpetual striving for the mirage of material happiness, leads a simple life, can one raise himself or herself to that level of living where one can experience higher thinking. Although a rarity, yet there were many ancients who knew well about this art of simple living and high thinking, and following such a sublime lifestyle, went through life in perfect harmony with nature and gracefully left the world to enter the realm of the Supreme Lord. A true Vaishnav is a perfect example of this lifestyle of simple living and high thinking, as they engage all that they have in the Lord's service and live a life of simplicity in surrender. The previous saints have set great examples of how to perfect the human form of life by completely surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Following in their footsteps, there are devotees even in this present day and time of the advancing Kali Yuga, who, dedicating all that they have acquired in this material world in the service of the Lord, live a simple and sublime life of bhakti. One such glowing example of simplicity at its best, where all of one's possessions are engaged in the Lord's service and the bare minimum is kept for self-sustenance, is Laxminarayan Prabhu, a retired wealthy bank manager who donated most of his wealth in the service of the Lord, while himself living a simple life. Born on the 5th of November 1953, in an orthodox religious family in Brahmanbaria, Bangladesh, Sri Narayan Chandra Roy, although having a painful childhood due to his mother's sad premature passing away, and despite the financial crisis that the family was facing at that time, studied and completed his master's in commerce with full scholarship throughout, due to his extraordinary genius. Even while still studying, he was recruited by a government bank and later onwards went on to work on high posts in one of the prestigious international banks, and retired from his service in 2013 after having worked for 36 years. However, as is the quality of wonderful Vaishnavas, he even transformed his job into an opportunity to serve the Lord by spending the minimum for his and his family's needs. Rather than living lavishly, he saved his hard-earned money so that he may be able to utilize it in the Lord's service. This is the true quality of a Vaishnava. Instead of falsely renouncing the material world, known amongst the knowledgeable as Markat Vairagya and condemned by them, a Vaishnava has true renunciation, in which he utilizes everything that he may have in the service of the Lord, and this is known as Yukta Vairagya. His Grace Laxminarayan Prabhu has set a perfect example of this Yukta Vairagya by engaging all the material possessions that Krishna has provided him with in Krishna's service. Although Laxminarayan Prabhu had been inclined towards the limbs of bhakti, such as studying the scriptures, chanting the holy names and worshipping the deities, since the very beginning of his life, he completely took up devotional life to the fullest when his son Subhajit Roy refused to take initiation from the family priest, having developed faith in the movement of Srila Prabhupada, and instead inspired everyone to take initiation from a qualified and learned spiritual master in the disciplic succession following Srila Prabhupada. Soon the majority of the family took initiation in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, established by Srila Prabhupada. Being inspired by His Holiness Bhaktu Charu Swami, father and son both took initiation from him and have ever since engaged in his service. Not only is his simple living praiseworthy, but also his high thinking should be appreciated. A sincere sadhaka is one who completely surrenders to the lotus feet of Sri Guru as the spiritual master is the representative of Sri Krishna himself, and it is only by his mercy that one can attain the ultimate goal of life. Realizing the importance of Guru Pad Ashray and taking the words of Sri Guru as his very life, he has rendered many wonderful services at the lotus feet of his Guru. Once, when his Guru Maharaj came to visit him and graced his household by accepting prasad at his house, his Guru Maharaj in a casual way instructed him to acquire a piece of land where all the devotee families could live together and have the opportunity for sadhu sangha. Taking this instruction to his heart, he founded the Devotee Welfare Multipurpose Cooperative Society, and as the president of the same, has made arrangements for 48 Vaishnava families to live together in harmony. Desiring to serve his Guru Maharaj to the best of his ability, he is currently trying to acquire a piece of land in the holy birthplace of his Guru Maharaj to make a magnificent temple there as well. Not only has he financially served his spiritual master and the movement of Srila Prabhupada, but he has also contributed greatly by serving as the able president of the temple in Brahmanbaria. However, all these services are but lamps in front of the sun of service that he has performed at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Radha Madhav, Srila Nrsingadev and Srila Prabhupada by donating rupees 2 crore towards the making of the temple of Vedic planetarium, which was the desire of Srila Prabhupada and the vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. By doing so, he has set a great example of how one should engage all one's possessions in the service of the Lord. He has also performed the wonderful service of donating an equal amount to set a corpus for their lordships at Sri Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan. By performing such wonderful services in the two most holy places in the entire universe, he has surely become the recipient of the causeless mercy of Guru Gauranga and Krishna. One may think that it is very difficult to overcome the clutches of material nature, give up one's own personal motives and surrender completely at the lotus feet of the Lord. But here we have in front of us a living legend who has laid down a path for all of us to follow on, to live simply by engaging all our resources in the service of the Lord, and think at a higher level of consciousness by engaging ourselves completely in executing the instructions of the spiritual master and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Simple living and high thinking is not an unachievable and far-fetched goal. Rather, it is a choice which all of us can make, and doing so render service to the best of our ability. After all, living life is an art which can be mastered by rendering unalloyed, loving devotional service at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.